Hello and welcome back to another episode of SuperCoach Insider. My name is Ben.
And I'm Chris.
And thank you for having us. Round 4 has finished. It's finito.
It's finally done.
It's finally done. So thank you for having us. This will be we've started a little earlier. As you can see, I didn't wait for you. I've already started mine. So Swindler today. Refreshing.
I actually don't mind the tropical pales. I like a bit of fruit in my beer.
Well, it suits you, Chris, because you are tropical and you are pale.
You're absolutely right. I can't argue that fact.
First things first, jump on our socials, facebook.com/SC Insider. Twitter, we are SC_Insider_.
We also on Twitch. Oh, that is out of bounds. Thank you very much. We got a live follower there. Mitch, let me pull up that surname. Sorry, buddy.
Jeez, Mitch ruining things early.
Nah, good work, mate.
So,
Mitch Braids, thanks very much for joining us, buddy.
Thanks.
Welcome to the stream.
Join us. We've already had a few people say hello, so thank you and welcome to the Twitch stream.
Yeah, so you can follow us on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/SC_Insider.
SC_Insider.
That's
my
right.
God.
And obviously YouTube as well, which is SuperCoach Insider, and all major podcast platforms, including SoundCloud.
Chris, you
Spotify.
are choking harder than Collingwood will tomorrow night.
Oh, the banter starts. The banter is fresh. I respect you for that.
Choke harder than 02 and 03.
Dude, this is the first time in like 15 years I'm actually worried about you guys.
Choke harder than the second half of the grand final.
Actually, I do remember one time, it would have been like 08-09 when you guys got Fev. You guys kicked like 7 goals in the last quarter to win by 3 points or something. I cried that night.
I refuse to remember anything about Fev. So anyway, Chris, let's get into it. This will be slightly shorter. I have some studies and other things to get to, so we will do things a little differently. We're not going to do the game by game. We will look at a lot of questions at the moment, and at this point in time, it comes down to really rookies. What are we doing? Who we think?
Yep.
A lot of that sort of stuff. Watching? So first things first, my team, Chris, didn't do so well. I had 5 not playing, and as everyone knows, I was actually waiting on Atkins. So I was waiting. I even got tempted the night before to bring in, Whitfield and do the old switcheroo.
You got that itchy trade finger.
I know, but then I'm like, oh, no, makes sense. I said, I'm going to wait. Atkins got a 68, which allowed me to keep Nathaniel Fife.
Yep.
Which is good because I probably would have actually gone, at that point, it would have been too late to get in like Libba, etc. And I probably would have gone Matt Crouch, which wouldn't have worked out too well for me anyway. So
probably it would have worked out in your long term. You got to look at Matt Crouch as a long term solution.
Well, it really would have only got me like an extra 22 points for a week, and then Fife's back this week. So
true, I agree. So what'd you end up scoring?
21-38. So yeah, not so good.
Would that mean that it's 3 Chris and 1 Ben? Is that how it works?
Look, I like to get off to a nice early head start.
Oh, I see. I get it.
I also like to count my chickens before they hatch. So
I like the early crow is worth it. It's worth it because at the time it's really fun, but then you get if it doesn't pan out, you get the shit piled on you, which is also fun for everybody else. Everybody loves it.
To be fair, I wasn't expecting to win.
No, that's true.
Anyway, how'd you go then, Chris?
I only just like slightly better. I ended on 21-67.
Yep.
No, I lie. I think it was 21-47 even. Let me have a look.
You know what would have been? What? Collins.
Probably. It was 21-47. Which...
Geez, not much.
So it wasn't a terrible week for me, but what I found is that I was hoping Cripps to go about 120 because I was lucky enough to VC Grundy, and we both did that.
Oh, yeah. If Cripps didn't actually go so big, we would have been sitting a lot better because the 3 main choices, which we said, Grundy, Neil, and Cripps, and one of those combinations of... a lot of people would have taken Neil if they went to VC on him. Fair enough, makes sense. Yeah. But Cripps going massive actually hurt a lot of people's scores.
It did, and here's the reason why. It's not necessarily about what other people or what your score was. It's about what other people were scoring. So because Cripps went so big and he was a very popular captain choice, that meant that those people that may have only got a 120 times 2...
He's owned by 50%. So he would have been captained by quite a good
He goes
margin.
120, we gain 40 points on the competition. He goes now 170, we lose 10 points on the competition.
Here's the funny thing, Chris, though, right? You scored basically the same as me.
Yep.
You dropped 2,000 places.
I did.
I dropped 4,000 places.
Yep. And so it's very tight. I mean, the difference between me and back where I was at 1,300 last week is only like 50 points, not even. So on a week-to-week proposition, I can find myself inside the top 1,000 or outside the top 1,000, depending on how good your week is. And that will continue, I think, until... What naturally happens is as soon as trading starts, that separates the men from the boys.
Oh, well, because I think you're only about 150 points ahead of 10,000.
Yeah, exactly right. And I'm only, I think, about 200 or maybe 250 from first place. So, if you look at that, we're pretty well placed. Now, I've got 29 trades. I think you've got 29 in round 4, but approaching round 5 before. I mean, that doesn't generally happen. So, we had a good starting squad. And a lot of people have had good starting squads because the cookie cutter squads like we've had when we started, they were generally the way to go. That's the reason why it's so congested. It's because there's a lot of those type squads with a lot of the same players, and they're all performing well.
Doing pretty well. Yeah. Yes, correct.
So, so if you're, even I think top 15,000, top 20,000, top 30,000, they're all probably close enough to bridge that gap at this point. Whereas usually there's a big separation by now.
And those that have Whitfield and Libba in their team are far ahead at this point.
Yeah, and those are the two.
They're the two.
That's the distinction between being top 1,000 or top 500 probably, and being top 5,000, 10,000. If you had Libba and Whitfield, you're probably
pretty well.
Had Whitfield and Lloyd. I tell you what, those guys, they're killing it.
They are absolutely killing it.
Anyway. Pretty cool. Now just shout out to those guys out there. New haircut to celebrate the trade of Walsh. Yeah, I did comment on your haircut when I see you on the weekend. Was it? Yeah. We was hanging out for football. I think it's a nice little one. That, by the way, that was a reference to your keeper league trade.
Yes, it is. Who was that commenting?
That was Chris Butler.
Us?
Yeah.
Right? Yes, Butler. I got Sam Walsh in a keeper league, so look forward to many years of premium scoring. So
begging works sometimes,
Oh,
right?
no, it took me ages, and then in the end I said, look, what's it going to take? Like,
It was
what's
my
it
first
going
time.
What's it going to take, right? What's it going to take? And then he's like, Heaney. And I was like, man, like Heaney was my second pick overall in the draft league from scratch. So I was like, anyone but Heaney. And he's like, Higgins and Petrarca. And I was like, done. Like, could not get that through quick enough.
Yeah, well done too, might I add.
Thank you.
Persistence pays off.
Well, it does.
An elephant never forgets.
if at first you don't succeed, try...
about 50 more times.
Yeah.
Now,
try for Hypnol.
Before we go on to the next part, we've got a couple of announcements to make, which is pretty cool. The first announcement we want to make is...
Congratulations!
Oh, thanks, man.
No, I'm kidding.
What am I getting congratulated for?
You said you have an announcement.
Oh, okay, cool. It is actually related to our podcast. We did hit over 1,000 likes on Facebook this week.
Yes.
Which has been pretty awesome. So it's been a pretty incredible journey, and it's started to really pick up legs. You've probably noticed as well. It's now ticking over at a rate of knots.
Yep, my phone's going off that much that my missus is getting jealous. Who's messaging?
Yeah, exactly right.
It's 11 at night. Why is your phone going off? I'm like,
it's a convenient time to SuperCoach, to be fair.
Yeah, it's just, hey babe, it's just football.
Yeah.
You wouldn't understand.
Twitter as well is going crazy. I think we're almost at almost 1,650 now. So I think a week ago we were at 1,500. So yeah, it's just really going crazy. Thanks to everyone that's been sharing, liking, commenting, and using us as a resource because we love it. And also, last week after our successful Thursday night Twitch session, we actually made affiliate. So what that means in a Twitch perspective is that people can now subscribe to us and get emotes, and you support the stream that way, which is really cool. And you can also donate bits. So anyone that wants to do that, obviously feel free to. On our channel, you just go to the top right-hand section, just hit subscribe. There is 3 tiers of subscriptions. So we've got the $4.99 sub, which is the Danes Zorko Coffee sub.
Coffee Club.
The $9.99, which is
the Dom Sheed Pocket Club.
The Dom Sheed Pocket Club. I love it.
And then the top one is the Gary Abbott Goat Club. So
another follow. Thanks, Lecdog Games, following us. Thanks. Hey, Lecdog, how you going, buddy?
Hey, Lecdog.
Yeah.
Hey, nice. Welcome along.
Welcome, buddy.
Enjoy seeing how the upper class lives.
Yeah. Yes, yeah, we just made affiliate, so thank you very much. So yeah, going really well. If you do want to subscribe, that's great. We will be gifting subscriptions over the next week to some of our obviously passionate followers. Stoney's actually done quite a lot for us. He's developed. We've got these little awesome emotes that we will actually be able to display a little bit later. So yeah, exciting stuff.
If someone wants to type in #blessed into Twitch, that should work. Will it?
I think it only works if you're actually a subscriber.
Oh, jeez, Chris, come on, pick it up, mate, pick it up.
So let me check that. But if you just go, I'm pretty sure it doesn't work this way. Yeah, no.
You didn't even type hashtag.
Oh, you don't need to.
Ah, fair enough.
Yeah. Anyway, so thank you for that, and we'll move on to the next section. We're going to first of all go through the Bubble Boys. I think that's what we've got next, yep. Yeah, Bubble Boys.
Bubble Boys.
So we're going to go through 3 things today. We've got the Bubble Boys, and we're going to go through the watch list. So people that we're actually keeping an eye on that are going to be dropping soon, good upgrade targets in the coming weeks. And then we're going to go through your Q&A. So we've got quite a few Q&As on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Any questions you do post in the Twitch chat right now, we will address during the Q&A.
Yep.
Not much point us going through right now because
there's a lot of double ups at this point in time.
We're going to ramble.
Can I just quickly say that, again, once with the crowing my chicken early,
yep.
Right, the early crow, I owe you an apology, mate, because when Haw scored well, I really ripped into it. I was like, oh, what's it like on Haw? He's killing it. He got like, what do you get, like 80 or something?
86, 87
and I
or
was
something.
like, oh, look at that money grow. Next minute, Wilkie pops out like a 110.
That was good. Do you have Wilkie?
No, because I was going to trade him in for Haw, and it didn't work out. And now I'm really upset because he's already made 90k and he's going to make even more now.
I'm just really glad he did that. He almost won them the game, to be fair. He was that good in that game.
I'm just thinking of all that money I missed out on.
But, I mean, I didn't, don't get me wrong. That's a sort of role that I thought he could play. I didn't think it would be this early. And
or he's ceiling that high. That's ridiculous.
Well, that's really good. But he showed Richo now, don't put me in the bloody ruck, mate. I'm a centre-half back. I'm an intercepting defender who can peel off and take grabs and spoil and be impactful in games.
Yeah, you've got to show him your best side, otherwise he might put you in the forward pocket like Billings, you know?
Oh, fun B-Man 555 says, love your haircut, Ben.
Thank you.
Well, I find it very attractive as well.
Well, I've gone the Christian boy look. I've gone the short back and sides. So, just
as you do. All right, now let's. I'll just get up the Bubble Boys quickly, so we can show the lovely.
I'm actually having a bit of an inkling for. I wonder who's averaging more out of Dunkley or Billings. I think Billings is winning. Easily. He's 90, isn't he?
Easy. No, he's over 100, Ben.
Not average.
Yeah, he's averaging about 102.
No.
Yep.
I did say he'd average 100 in the first 3 to 4.
Because he hit 84, 86, 108, 124.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to have a look.
He's definitely averaging over, 100%, guaranteed. Now, you don't even have to check that, mate, because I know. I know because I go. All right. So we're just organised this via... Am I right?
He was in my side for most of the preseason too. You know it.
Okay.
Unlucky.
All good. So let's flick over the break even so that the lovely public can also have a look. So the Bubble Boys this week. So this is organised via break even, and this is how if you don't have SuperCoach Gold, I do recommend you getting it because it does help your SuperCoach game immensely. Whenever you're looking at trading targets in, the lower their break even, the more cash they're going to make the following week. So a couple of things you need to work on with that. It's about job security and it's about scoring power. So when people are talking about JS, that's job security. So how likely they are to get games in the coming weeks. And scoring power, which is SP, what do you think they might average over the coming weeks with the role that you think that they can get?
Yep.
So those are the two most important things when choosing a rookie.
Not surprising, Richmond have a few on their list. So
they do. So they've got a couple coming up. So not on the bubble, but someone to keep an eye on for next week is Jack Ross. Scored 87 his first week, played brilliantly.
Has a good role too, but...
Well, that's the issue, isn't it?
That's the issue because Cochin will probably take that role back.
Yeah, so he played midfield in a game where there was no Martin, no Cochin. They're going to come back in, and Martin definitely this week, and maybe Cochin either this week or next week, because they said it was 1 to 2. So
well, and then now it's still 1 to 2, I think. Well, 2 to 3. It's pushed to 2 to 3. So
well, that's good for Jack Ross, but that may actually trap you.
Yeah, I think it will.
So, what you don't want to do is you don't want to trade someone in on their bubble game, which is game 3.
Yeah.
And then game 4, they dropped. And then you've only had 1 round of cash gen, and then
realistically, you'd hope Cochin comes back, next round.
Yeah, and
which
then
would be good. And then he's named with him. That would be
that's
amazing.
An ideal scenario. Then you can go Jack Ross.
They drop someone else, which is possible. So very, very possible.
So unlike AFL Fantasy, if you're new to SuperCoach, where players go up from day 1, from the first game that they play, Jack Ross will stay the same price this week and will only go up next week, which means that the only point in trading him in this week is if you want on-field points, which is useless to you at this point.
Yep.
So...
could be the coming rule of 2019. So I brought him in. The only time I've ever brought someone in early, and then he got dropped, I believe.
Yeah. So as a rule of thumb, unless it's the only move you can do to do something in your team, maybe upgrade somewhere on field, I would suggest... You're early again, I love it. Always waiting until the bubble game, which is game 3 of a rookie scoring, to be able to do that. So of that, the highest, the lowest break even, I should say, is Riley O'Brien at -89 with scores of 84 and 85. So he's actually averaging 85. And
he's predicted to go up 73k.
Yes.
Based off their predictor.
Exactly right. So what that means when they say it's based on their predicted price. Now I'll bring that up because over here in the top right, you can actually go into cash cows, and it'll tell you what the following round is that they're actually going to. If they make their predicted target, this is how much they'll go up. Now their prediction is, I think it's somewhere here. I can't even find it. But usually their prediction is based on their average. So at the moment, he's averaging, I think, 84.5. So if he hits that mark, next round is actually going to go up 73k. So that's a gain of 73k. And then obviously you want him in your team for, say, at least 3 to 5 games usually, once you've actually traded them in. And then you can trade them out, get their cash, and then upgrade someone else who's another rookie to a premium. So that's how SuperCoach works in a really simplified format.
Yep.
Now, the thing with Riley O'Brien is, and before today, I think he was not on anyone's radar. Or people knew about him, but they knew that Sam Jacobs was coming back.
Yeah.
Another live follower. Let's have a look here.
Loving the live follows.
Yeah, we've got...
Can we mix it up and maybe not get Pendles up there giving thumbs up all the time?
We could change. We can do whatever you want with that, mate.
Yeah.
I just like Pendles.
Maybe get a Robbo or something. Maybe put Zorko on the side.
True.
On ice for a little while.
Binger Carroll, thanks very much, Binger, for joining us. And I hope you enjoy the stream. Feel free to ask some questions away.
Brett Lee's joined us. Love it.
Yeah, right.
Binger.
Anyway, so the big thing with Riley O'Brien was before today, everyone thought Sam Jacobs was coming back this week, which would mean that the likely scenario is he'd be dropped, which you can't then bring him in because he's got no job security. And Adelaide released today that Sam Jacobs pulled up sore at training. He wasn't able to actually complete the session that they had set out for him.
That was yesterday, wasn't it?
Yesterday.
Yeah.
And they don't know what to do. He's got a knee injury, and they've announced that it's a meniscus.
Yeah, so the nature of the meniscus, they were saying that he was having issues with the changing of direction and the nature of play, that he was actually getting
Which
soreness.
in AFL is,
huge.
That's all you're doing.
Yeah, especially as a big man getting around, that's a lot of weight you're putting through your knees. So, yeah.
Real dangerous.
It's not looking great. I think it's just more of a niggling kind of, it's a hindrance.
Yeah.
But
what they've said today is that there's 2 options. They're consulting specialists tomorrow. And at the end of that session, they'll know whether or not he's going to go in for surgery to get a clean out, or they're going to be able to manage it through the season. Now, if he does go in for surgery, they're saying it's anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks that he's going to miss.
Yep.
And we'll know that tomorrow, hopefully before lockout.
Well, if that's the case, if that's 4 weeks, that's then...
Oh, it's perfect.
Well, yeah, you get what, 3 or 4 price rises.
You'll get exactly 4.
Yeah. But that's best case.
You'll make at
worst
least...
case, you'll make 4.
If he averages 85 during that time, you'll make at least $200,000. At least. It's definitely a trade worth doing. However, here's the thing. There's a couple of scenarios with Riley O'Brien. It's like, okay, so most people don't have a playing ruck 3 right now.
No.
And if they do, they haven't made enough money to make it worth downgrading them. So people like myself who started with a ruck forward loop swing, like yourself, as what we can do is downgrade someone from the forward line. We can switch our ruck forward R3, they call it, into the forward line, and then put Riley O'Brien there. So that's what I'm likely going to do at this stage if the news comes through positive tomorrow. And it's likely that I'm probably going to trade Setterfield. And the reason for that is obviously Setterfield's out for 2 weeks. Now, whilst he does have a break-even of 22, which is fairly low, and he will make more cash, if I trade in O'Brien, I'm going to make about 60k straight up. Then I'll make 2 weeks of cash gen before Setterfield comes back. And at that point, O'Brien's probably going to have a break-even of around about 22, or it'll be low teens to say 30-ish. So they're probably going to be able to make money at the same rate from then on. So I don't think I'm losing anything apart from on-field points, which I'm not using him on-field anyway.
And apart from a forward bench.
Yeah. So
yours is a little bit different to me because I actually have setters on field because I only have Petroselli and Bolter.
So yeah, then your option is do you field. What you could do is you don't have Chris Burgess, do you? So you can't flick more forward.
No, Moore's in my defence as well. I couldn't flick him forward, no.
So I have the ability to flick Moore forward, which means I'm only playing 2 rookies on field, which is Drew and Parker.
Yep.
Setterfield's on my bench, unfortunately, with Bolter. So the other option I've got is those with Bolter. You could obviously sideways, but it's not really a sideways. It's actually going to cost you 20 grand to go up to a Riley O'Brien and do it that way, which I'm not against because, I mean, is Bolter going to make you any cash? So it's not the worst trade.
He might come out with a cracker.
I don't love it, but if you really want to, my plan is trade Setters out, leave Bolter there. If he hits a JLT score of 80 to 100, I can loophole him on field with Bynes.
Yeah.
So at least then, you've got some sort of benefit to it. He might make you some cash, he might not, but who knows? It's a bit up in the air at this point.
Yeah, my other option is actually getting Setters out and then bringing in, if I wanted to, Josh Rotham, which I don't know if I want to do that anyway, and then swing Darcy Moore forward to actually cover that forward line instead of having Petroselli on. I can then have Clark instead of on my bench. I can have him on field. There are some options. You could also go move Bonds to the forward line. You can move Setterfield to the midfield, and then you could downgrade a Scott or a Butters, which I probably would. If he's on field, I wouldn't advise it. If he's not on field, you could probably get away with it. Yeah, it sounds great because Butters, he had a bad game, so he's going to have that bad score for a few rounds. Plus, he's already made some cash. Everyone's like, cash grab. But it's like, if he's on field, then who are you going to field? Because I don't want to field Atkins every week. I don't want to field Scott, who probably doesn't look like he's going to play every week.
And I don't want to field Gibbons.
Gibbons is only good to look at.
Nah, I think the scenario is if Butters is on your field, I wouldn't even look at that trade.
If he's off your field, fair enough.
His lowest score before last week was 72 or something?
68 or something. Something pretty good.
That's decent, Yeah. I'd rather have, you've got a 3 and 4 shot at a 70 score. I'd rather have that on field than whatever you're going to trade in.
I think he'll at least hit 300.
There's a lot more cash to be made with Butters. Yeah, so I'm happy holding on him.
There's a lot more milking to go with that Butters.
Yeah, but I can see why people would want to. And the other thing is, it's just that little bit too early.
You know what? The issue is here, I think, Chris, is that this is the first real opportunity to downgrade, and people are getting itchy. Excited. They're just
they're itchy.
Yeah, literally. Give me some more.
But you know why it is?
Getting on it.
Usually at this stage of the season, round 5, you've just got a shitty rookie that's been shit.
Yeah.
Whereas most people's rookies, they're still churning away. They've still got money to grab or whatever. I mean, the only real one that's really failed, is probably Bolter. All the defender rookies. Oh,
defenders is great.
Last week, Callum Wilkie goes 112. Scrimshaw goes 101. The worst of the bunch was Clark, which is 54. Yeah, he was
97, didn't he? What did he got?
He got scaled, bro.
What?
Yeah, he hit the ton.
What a legend.
Your worst of the bunch is Clark at 53, and I'm not trading him. He's been a solid 65 to 6 to 70.
His ceiling doesn't look great, but he'll still get you 65s or whatever.
I mean, so... Yeah, it's not desperate to trade this week, but I can understand people who do in different situations, and we'll go through them. So, Riley O'Brien, I think he's the number 1 if we get the news for Jacobs. Sydney Stack is number 2, so he had that big score in the first round of a 108.
Which will be gone not long after.
And here's the problem. So, if you don't know much about how break-evens work, essentially a score stays in a cycle for 3 rounds.
Yes.
And so it influences how much they go up in price for 3 rounds. After that, it cycles out, and the next 3-round score is still in the loop.
So the problem with that 108 is it was the first round, which is great because he might make you a 60, 70k week 1, but then if he has a 40, and a 50, he's not going to make that much more. It's going to be a slower burn after that. So realistically, you'd like a rookie or someone or other to do essentially what Wilkie's
you want
done.
That consistent
Wilkie went what did he go, a 50, a 60, a 27, and then a 110. And then he's just gone, boo, straight through the roof. And then once that 20...
I think it was 27
last week. I don't know. Anyway, he had a low score last week. But...
He started with a 70, then he hit a 39, then he hit a 55 or something, and then he hit a 112.
And a big score just floats it. So, look, I'm actually... And this isn't going to help anybody in this podcast today, but I am really undecided, and I'm not going to make up my mind.
That's all right.
Until the teams
By the end
are
of this
announced,
podcast, you'll probably know.
until the teams are announced, I don't know.
So my view on Sydney Stack is that I think he's got really good job security. So we got a report. There's 2 people that he could actually replace in the side that got injured. So Markov is out for 4 to 6 weeks, and there was announced that Jaden Short's out for 6 to 8 weeks.
Yep.
Now he was playing both of those roles, so he can play small forward or he can play behind the ball. Now behind the ball is obviously better for his scoring, But he's got good job security because I think regardless, I think he's still in their 22 right now. Because there's 2 guys that were in their best 22 that are just shipping out. They do have a lot of guys coming back, but he's one that he doesn't play in the middle, so he's not affected by...
He doesn't have a like-for-like coming back.
No, he doesn't. So I think his job security is pretty good. He's also priced at 102k.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
It kind of makes it's a no-brainer because you're going to probably make $100,000 regardless.
Yep.
However, who do you downgrade him to?
That's the issue.
Do you want to play him on field?
That's the issue.
So the answer for me is I don't want him on field.
I don't want him on field. Then who do you put him instead of?
And so
Atkins has still got more money to make.
So does Gibbons.
Scott as well.
So does Scott.
Has money to make.
So, well, if he gets named, of course. But even then, I wouldn't be trading a Scott because he's only got 1 price rise out of him, and he's gonna make more money. Like he'll probably make at least another $100,000. He's a guy that can punch out 100 or punch out a high 80, and then recycle that cash gen really quickly because of the role that he plays in the team.
That's the problem with round 4. They've only had 2 price rises.
Yeah, you need that.
That's it. 2.
You
Just
really
2
need
price
one
rises.
more to really start.
It's only 2.
So Sydney's stack's probably there 1 round early, in my opinion. I think unless you've got Butters on your bench and you just want to get the cash grab, 2 enhanced teams on your field. So I can see. I actually thought my trade when lockout ended this week, I was like, okay, I want to do Butters to stack and I want to do Williams to Whitfield. Because I do believe that Whitfield he's running away with it right now. Like he's just going nuts. Like
yeah, he's taking the piss.
He's taking the piss, man.
And you didn't even have him in your top 10.
No, I didn't. And I immediately regret that decision. So yeah, he's just blowing me away.
Could be worse. You could have thought Seb Ross was in for a break.
You know what he is? He's the Patrick Cripps of last year, right? By the way, Seb Ross had a 130 last week, bro.
Yeah, and guess what he's averaging? Like 88, 89.
Nah, he'll be right.
He's horrible.
He'll be right, mate.
Absolutely.
He comes back with 150s.
Absolute
He'll be sweet.
Dud.
So Liam Baker's in there, obviously.
Yep.
He's only played the 1 game, but 160, and he had a 91 on his debut this year. Keep an eye on him. I just don't like his job security. I think that if next week, if more people come in, Stack stays ahead of him, and Stack moves forward if they really need a small forward. The next one is Josh Rotham. So he was a late in for Leroy Jetta last week. What?
Is it that Jetta? Leroy Jetta?
Yeah, West Coast.
Yeah, what's his first name? Leroy.
Is that not his name? What's his name?
I'll just call him.
There's so many Jettas. No, Neville Jettas plays for Melbourne. I'm sure it's Leroy.
Yeah, it's Jetta. Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. So he replaced Jetta in the side as a late out. Now the problem with that is, of course, Jetta's if it's a late out, Jetta's probably back this week. And what happens to Josh Rotham? So is he even named? And if he is he just going to be there for 1 week?
That's
What's his? Yeah. So he's got a great scoring power, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think he's mature age, but that is the issue, Chris.
It's the exact same issue that we have with Marty Hall. So a lot of people have him, which is great, but I traded him out.
I knew there was something wrong about what you're saying.
What?
It's Lewis Jetta.
Lewis Jetta. Sorry,
Leroy.
I reckon Leroy is a much...
racist. Leroy the chicken eater. Hey, Leroy!
What? How is that racist?
My God, that is horrible, Chris.
Anyway.
Check yourself.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Sorry. Anyway.
Chickadee chicken.
So Marty Hoare, of course. I traded him out of my team because I didn't think his job security was great. He actually and the reason is he was not named, etc., and then not named the following week, but then made a late in. Now there's quite a few people coming into that side, including but not limited to Neville Jetta, who was the late out.
Yep.
You've also got Jordan Lewis that's coming back in, and you've got Sam May
next week,
either next week or the week after.
Yep.
So essentially,
Stephen May.
I don't have. If you don't have Hoare, I wouldn't be training him in.
No. If you don't have him, do not, because trust me, I've already had 2 weeks of pain that he hasn't played. So
yeah, I don't think he played terrible in week 1.
I thought he actually did. Yeah, and he did really well in this game as well. Yeah. His score would have been a lot higher, except he managed to kick a couple of intercepts and kick one out the full.
Well, it's the same in week 1.
Yeah.
So his issue is not getting the ball. His issue is his efficiency by foot, which is, I'm sure, why AFL clubs overlooked him for a long time.
His effort was so much better than many of the other Ds.
Oh.
He was taking intercepts.
Wholeheartedly.
He was actually backing into packs. He was energetic.
Putting his body on the line,
He was energetic.
No, he played well. He's got to play this week.
He just got tired and made a couple of mistakes.
He will play this week, but I think he's on borrowed time.
Speaking of tired, Darcy Moore, I tuned in at halftime, and he's on 50 SuperCoach. And I'm like, yes, Darcy Moore, great pickup, love and life. And then literally, I'm watching the game.
Did you see he went down to the room? So, you know, he had to piss. He
just had to piss.
He wasted 15 minutes.
And then he's so relaxed. I'm watching him, and
he's killing your Supercoach team because he needs to go to the John.
And then he's just walking. The amount of times I saw Darcy Moore walking, or he was playing last leg in defence. Didn't even get near him. I was like, how did you get to 50 Supercoach points at the half? Anyway.
Fair enough.
He was horrible. Painful.
Painful?
Painful. Collins outscored him, the guy I traded him to.
Well,
oh my God.
That's your fault. But
I know, but...
I tried to talk you out of it, but I also, you made a logical decision based on what you thought.
And based on what I'd seen, it was logical.
Now, the next one is Shea Bolton. Just to keep an eye, he's not on the bubble this week, but keep an eye on him for next week. I actually really thought he played really well. I'm just not sure that he's going to be able to stay in that team either, being a small forward. They've got Butler and Butler's out still, and I think he was just dropped to come get some form in the VFL. So see how that goes.
He was highly talented, and he's been around for a little while now.
True.
So it could be his time.
And mature age. So
it could be his time.
Zach Clark. I actually don't hate the Zach Clark selection. However, with Riley O'Brien there with much better scoring power, I would much, much, much prefer that. And he's also more expensive than Riley O'Brien.
Yeah.
You got Jay Lockhart. I wouldn't be touching that. It looks like he's on the outskirts of their 22 and no real job security. Plus, he plays a small forward role, which is typically not great for Supercoach because 1 week you could have a 20, the next week you could have a 70. And you don't. That's not great for Supercoach.
Here's what I'm hoping quickly with Hoare is that the D's won, so they might actually want to reward their players.
I think he'll play this week. I do. I honestly think Hoare will play this week. You will get a price rise. He just
might
get
dropped next week.
I think next week is the week he gets dropped. So we'll see how that goes. You've also got here Tom Sparrow as well, of course. Again, not sold on Tom Sparrow. I don't even know if he's going to play this week. So I probably wouldn't be looking at getting him in. And that pretty much rounds out the rookies in terms of the Bubble Boys. So
yeah, Bubble Boys is sorted. Can I just say that Sam Walsh could be the quickest guy that started at 200k to make 200k?
Yeah.
3 price rises.
What's he at now? 350 or something?
He is on 342 and he's predicted to go up another 60.
Maybe that's a stat for fantasy.
That's huge.
He played well on the weekend, though. I tell you what... But he played... I reckon he's played that good all season. However,
he's more composed now. I think he's starting to get the tempo a bit.
You know what?
Now he's like, okay, so I've been driving on the freeway for a little while.
He's taking his time to balance.
I'm seeing all these cars come flying past, and now I'm like, okay, this is what it's all about. And then you kind of, adjust.
I think... I don't think I've seen many people like him that are really well balanced as a midfielder. And what I mean by that is he's got good disposal efficiency. He can run all day.
Decision
he tackles,
making,
he's
awareness
hard at the ball
as well.
It's a package deal.
It's crazy. Normally they're really fit or they're really good with the ball. Whereas he is literally A, great decision maker, B, clean with his hands, clean with his feet, and just the spatial awareness is ridiculous. And then you put
Josh Kelly's probably as good, but not as good as Young.
No,
I think that's the they're very similar players. They've got great outside speed. They're very good inside.
It's been
great
a long time since I've seen a kid that literally
at 18,
like a few games just blown away by you should not be this good. No. You should not be this good.
No way. So yeah, really, really look at that. Now, is there any other things on trades that you want to get through before we go to the watch list?
No, I think that's it. That's pretty much those three main ones. You're looking at O'Brien, Stack, and Rotham to a less extent, except I'm not really sold on Rotham either, as you can imagine. So it's pretty much Stack and O'Brien, which could be the two. And even then, it's more about whether you can pocket a little cash and if they're better options to make more than the ones you have.
Fair enough, mate.
Which is the only real option, isn't it?
I agree. All right. So I'm going to have a look at our watch list here. So this is just players that, and we'll sort them by average. Wait, is that? That's not. Doesn't really matter, I suppose. These are players that I've got on my watch list, and there's probably others that you might have that maybe are already in my team, and we will touch on them as well. But people that you definitely need to be taking an eye on. So
how have you got Rowan Marshall in there after you bagged him relentlessly all week?
I'm actually watching Rowan Marshall because I want to see him fall off a cliff. Because he's hurting teams right now.
You're ripping. Yeah.
No, I still think I'm right.
Of course you do. Chris, you have never not believed...
In the next 2 weeks, we'll know.
You have never not believed you were right.
Oh, that's also true.
In any debate.
I told you, I love the early crow.
In any debate.
I love a good early crow.
Literally, you go so hard that even people that think they're right start to go, oh, geez, maybe...
Well, because, dude, do you know that's what I do for a living? I sell shit. That's what I do. Okay, so we will talk about... Let's go into Rowan Marshall. So he hit a 124, I believe, on the weekend.
Yeah, I think even some people were like, Chris, damn you. And you're like, well, give it a week.
So look, people have traded him in, and I can see why. Because if you look at it, this whole site is designed around averages, break-evens, cash flow, and from everything that you look at just numbers-wise, he's a no-brainer selection. Absolute no-brainer. He's had a 3-game average of something ridiculous. He's cheap. He's a great downgrade target if you made a wrong decision for your F3 or injured or whatever it may be, or an F4. There's nothing not to like about having him in your team. The only issue is his role and whether or not he can keep it for the next however many games. He's played 16 games in his career. He's the other two ruckmen that are in the side. So you've got Lewis Pearce and Billy Longer. They're both battling it out in the VFL right now and coming back from injuries. Lewis Pearce had concussion before the preseason, and then I believe he was dropped after he had concussion, and then Rowan Marshall was the one that was able to step up and be the number one ruck for the next few weeks. But I do think that will change as soon as Longer comes back and is killing it in the VFL at the moment.
I don't know what he did last week, but he had like 47 hitouts the week before.
Yeah.
Longer did. So, well, I'm interested. I am very interested in...
And I don't necessarily think that Rowan Marshall will get dropped based on his form right now, but I do think that they'll probably look to get Longer in as a first ruck. Well, and move Marshall to the forward.
He's about to play Max Scorn, so that'll be interesting. He could get...
And this is what I mean.
Get scored.
He gets towed by Max Scorn this week.
They bring in Longer maybe.
Longer comes in next week. That's as simple as it is. He's had 16 games. They're not going to give him a second chance when they've got the first team ruckman playing in the twos. If it's one bad week, is all it takes for Rowan Marshall to start being a spud again.
Yeah, because he doesn't have the points on
No,
grade.
He doesn't. He's got no points on the board. So, ballsy decision can ruin your entire SuperCoach year, and there's no way I'm doing it for a
So you might get your two price rises and then out.
Well, you're not going to make enough money now.
No.
Now, if you're trading him in, you're really bad. If you started with him, or if you trade him in at, say, I don't know, what, $320,000 or whatever it was a few weeks back, great. Before the price changes, that was fantastic. You've done well. You've made some cash. You'll probably make a little bit more, but moving forward, you can't trade him in now.
All right, let's have a look here. Whitfield killing at $605K, so he's expensive. He's had 3 big games in a row, and his price really reflects it. For me, I think he's great, and I do want him in. Mm-hmm. But at this point in time, especially with their buys and stuff as well, I would like him in ASAP, but I'm actually kind of hoping he gets tagged and then waiting for that price drop. For me,
the issue is he's got a break even of 65 right now. So even if he gets tagged this week, he's going to maintain that price. And let's say he gets a 60 to 80.
Yeah, he's at least 3 or 4 weeks off having it drop.
So if you have the cash right now by going down and up, do you get him or do you wait? It's such a hard decision.
I still think it's too early to go down and up. But if you are sitting outside the top 10,000, if you're going like 18,000 strong, then yeah, sure. If you could downgrade Butters to a stack and then go from a Williams or someone or other to a Whitfield, then maybe.
Yeah. So looking at the size they got coming up, I can see why I wouldn't want to choose Whitfield right now. So you've got Freo, and we all know that old Rossi Lyon loves a good tag.
Yeah.
You got Sydney with Hewitt, and he's played on him before and restricted him to under 80 twice last year. Then you have St Kilda. They've got a tagger too, but I don't think that's really going to affect...
No, I don't think they'll put Steele on.
I don't think they'll put someone there. Because St Kilda like to play with their loose man in defence. So they would be happy with Whitfield wandering around as long as they've got, say, a Wilkie or a Savage or something like that behind the ball where they can try and hurt them offensively.
Mind you, look at this run here and look at the GWS mids. So I know some people are talking about getting rid of Caniglo, which I think is stupid.
No, don't even.
You're playing Fremantle, Sydney, Saints, Hawks, Carlton, Melbourne, Gold Coast. And then Adelaide and North, who aren't even doing that great. And then Essendon and Brisbane and Richmond, who, again, Richmond is depleted.
Not great.
That's such a good run.
By the way, I'm almost empty, mate, on my first. They've got Hawthorn and they've got Daniel Howe now. He came back as a late in this weekend.
For Whitfield, someone's going to get some attention. But...
So, do they... And Alistair Clarkson has been known to tag left field options. So he may not necessarily tag a midfield. He might tag a defender or a forward, depending on how he sees things.
Well, no one needs to tag Wingard. He's just doing it himself.
Yeah. Now, after that, it does ease it up. So after that, they've got Carlton, Melbourne, Gold Coast, Adelaide, all of which they're not really tagging teams. So you've really got a good run there. So my plan is if by the end of the Hawks game, I can't see him doing anything, you just got to pull the trigger.
Yeah, bring him in.
So whatever it is, whatever price he is at the end of the Hawks game, I think you have to have him. You also got to remember that every week that you don't have him and other people do, it's the gap's just going bigger and bigger and bigger. So I think he's going to be a must-have. I think he's a top 2 defender. The other one's obviously Jake Lloyd. If you don't have Jake Lloyd, he's just going to keep hurting you.
Yep.
And hurting you and hurting you and hurting you. He would have been massive last week, but he turned the ball over 5 times or something in the last quarter. Killed us.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah.
It was horrible. Also to note as well is that Laird has now dropped to about 525. And he could be nice in the low in the 5s as well. Yeah,
he's coming in really nice price at the moment. He's got a high
Adelaide's,
break even.
He does. He's 120 though. He doesn't mean he's... I reckon he'll hit 120 against the Suns, PS.
But... And so that's the thing. So if you picture Laird getting back to where he should be, which is hitting those 140s, is it a viable option then to wait one more week, grab Laird at a basement price instead of grabbing a Whitfield, and in the hope that those over the next 4 weeks, that evens out, and then you can grab a Whitfield after round 9.
It's interesting to see, but Laird at like 500 and change is cheap.
I know.
Like I can do it. I could easily do it.
Simpson come back?
Nah.
You don't reckon he's done?
No, like don't get me wrong, I like Simpson, but he looks he at best at this point it looks like he's going to average 90 flat.
He's going to be under 450k.
For me, he's out of the 10. For me, and if he's out of the 10, Chris, like the way he's playing, I get it. And this is the
but it's not about the 10.
I know that. I know that. But I mean, in general, right? You look at it and go at the start of the year, we want these guys to drop in price because we love fallen premiums, and then you watch him drop in price, and you're like, ooh,
do I even want that guy?
He doesn't look good. Yeah, right. Exactly. It's like a catch-22. You want them to drop, and then they drop, and then you look at them going, man, they're horrible.
There's got to be a reason for the drop, and then you need to see that reason turn around. So it might be a role change, or it could be that they were underdone going into preseason and they just started hitting form. There has to be a reason. With Simpson, I don't see a reason.
Yeah, he's not wearing long sleeves, and he's getting arthritis.
So long sleeves is...
And he's getting arthritis. So
He's had a slight role change. So he's playing higher up the ground than he was.
He's had a slight wardrobe change too, Chris, but, you know.
And obviously they've had someone else impact his score. So you get an injury to Newman, then all of a sudden, everyone's jumping on Simpson, right? So, all right, next on the list, Travis Boak. Absolutely insane. Now, can I say for both of these guys, this is an important stat, right? Whitfield right now is averaging 34 disposals per game.
Crazy. Boak's averaging like 32.
That's 7.5 disposals more than he averaged last year. That's insane. So, so you look at that 2 ways. If he continues that, he'll be a 125 averaging player for the year. So if he can maintain that, that's insane. That's huge. Right?
Boak as well, even when Boak was averaging...
Boak is the same.
What did he average? Like 106 or something, 107 when he was playing pure midfield. We're talking years ago now. And I used to love Boak.
Yeah.
I used to think Boak was
consistent,
the bee's... I thought it was the bee's knees. Yeah. And then he just became irrelevant. And I'm watching
But his disposals have just gone through the roof.
And now his disposals up. Even like a personal best as well.
Now, if you put this alongside someone from last year who did the same... Jack McRae averaged 5 more disposals last year than he did the previous year, and he was the number 1 midfielder for the year. So, if you think that Whitfield's going to average 7 more and Boak the same, they are musts. And it's like, how quickly can I get him in my team? So, you need to think, are they going to do this for the year? Is there anything that could affect them? Right now, Boak's still at a decent price, but he could be untouchable. Yes, 560.
Yeah.
560, so you could still get Boak in. But, you know, I wouldn't go, say, a Gray to a Boak. But there's a lot of people saying, all right, Dunkley to Boak.
Yeah, but then that's a trade and a downgrade. That's 2 trades.
It is 2 trades. It's 1 down, 1 up.
That's hectic.
And it's a sideways, essentially.
That's hectic.
But you're spending two trades on a sideways. So
that's hectic.
I don't envy people with that Boak. I don't envy them.
With Boak?
No, with Dunkley that are trying to get to Boak.
Yeah, I've got Dunkley and I am not enjoying life right now.
Now this all could hinge on this week as well. So you've got De Boer coming across. Oh no, so Hutchings, sorry. So they're playing West Coast this week. So who does Hutchings tag? So it's either going to be Boak or Rocky. So if you own both, you're sort of happy, sort of not happy. Yeah. One person's going to get off the chain.
I'm hoping it goes Rocky, to be honest.
I hope he goes Boak, because then Boak will decrease in price and I'll pick him up. See, now I'm much more comfortable picking up Boak. His playing history and is a lot stronger in terms of games played and his consistency. And he very rarely has a poor game, whereas Rocky's, Rocky. How do I describe Rocky? So,
yep.
My preference would be if Hutchings went to Boak, then I could pick him up in 3 weeks and it'd be sweet. Because a low score, let's say he has a 60, that's in his cycle for 3 weeks. And then he'll drop maybe 50k, and then you can pick him up at 510. That's the goal.
Didn't Zach Merritt go bang?
Oh, man.
So bang. And Wally as well. After 2 rounds, Wally's like, oh, I need to get rid of him. I was like, no, he got like a 109. He did it right. He was getting, and we actually convinced him on that podcast, because all week I think he messaged me. It's like, he's got to go. He's got to go. And he's like, oh, I ended up keeping him. And then he went 109, 119, I think it was, or 120. No, 120 flat.
120 flat.
And then 155 or something.
Yeah.
He's gone bang, bang. And now he's actually averaging...
Guaranteed top 10? Well, he was before the season.
I don't think he's guaranteed, but he's averaging 114 now. So that big ceiling, that's a big score.
Well, I think that's what he averages for the year. Yeah. And I reckon that's definitely top 10. Now, here's the thing with Zach Merritt is
4% of sides.
He's working through tags.
Yes.
So the more he works through tags, the more they're going to realise what's the point in tagging him, which means that these big scores could be a more consistent thing. He's notoriously someone who hits a 130 and that's his cap.
Yep.
Hitting a 155 for Zach Merritt is massive. That's a big deal.
Well, I'm pretty sure he got a 120 with Harms or someone running with him.
Yep, he had a run with him.
And the 109, who they play the second round, he actually did.
Was it Saints? Saints. Steele. Jack Steele. Yeah. Now, that's not DeBoer, Hutchings, or Hewitt.
No, but that's still attention.
Yeah.
Attention is attention.
And yeah, that's what I mean. Like, the more that happens, the less likely they are to tag him, and then more likely to go to Shield.
Yep.
So I would love, again, on my watch list, hardcore. I've got 5 midfielders right now, so I want 3 more. So pick your 3. Is it Zach Merritt is on top of my list in midfield.
Really?
Yep.
Over Cornelio and
Kelly, but he's not there. Kelly needs to drop in price before I can think about him, and I think he will, because he's going to start slow and work his way into the season.
See, I think that's dangerous, because you've already got Matt Crouch. Matt Crouch will be on the middle to later part of that top 10 anyway.
Yeah, but I've already got him.
Yeah, exactly. So that means you want to bring in another guy on the fringe of top 10?
Zach Merritt?
Yeah.
No, I think he's higher.
You think he's what, top 6?
I put him as 7.
Ooh. Okay.
So, and I think he's actually going to be better than that now seeing him. So,
see how we go. How quickly people forget they watch one good game and they're like,
woohoo! Now, Tommy Stewart's an interesting one. So he's obviously good on my watch list there. But Tommy Stewart, I think he's a top 3 defender right now.
Yeah. Remember how I got him in draft because no one else really wanted him? I was just like, yeah, he's next. I'll get him.
Now, here's the issue. Zach Tui was supposed to come back in round 2 or something originally. Originally, it was like, he'll miss round 1, but he's going to be close to selection early in the season.
And then he was a bit delayed, yeah.
And then it's just when does he come? Does anyone know when he's coming back?
He's close now.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think he's down for a test now, so...
So I just need to see him scoring this well with him in the team before I say, yep, okay, I'm going to lock him in as a top 6. But I do think that Zach Tui does definitely impact his scoring. How much, I'm not sure. So that's one to watch. I think Shanahan's just one that you probably want to get if you can, because he's going to be top 6. I think he's proved that last year and late the year before, and the kick-in rule. And something that's interesting is that 9 of the top 10 defenders are all kick-in takers. The only one that's not is Lockie Whitfield. Everyone else takes kick-ins. So, and don't get me wrong, Lockie Whitfield does take the occasional kick-in, but it's usually left to Heater Shaw or Finlayson if he's playing behind the ball.
Oh, meanwhile, how bad's our bet doing between Heater Shaw and Hurley?
It's bad.
It's like
it's battle of the shit cunts.
Yeah, it's battle of the oldies. I swear to God, horrible. They're both under 80.
Anyway,
horrible.
Joshy Kennedy's surprising some. So he's averaging 111 here. He usually doesn't go this big this early.
I told you how fit he looked at the start of the year. He was beast mode. He was on my list from early in the preseason, but I just didn't want to pick him. True. He looks so fit. I'm like, but then he's old, and I'm like, plus it's Sydney. But he looks so fit in the preseason. I was sharing photos being like, look at JBK. He looks like an absolute rig. Mm-hmm. So I'm not surprised that he started well. It's just I wasn't expecting him.
I also think the reliance on the midfield at Sydney is a lot higher this year because the forwards aren't doing it for him. Franklin's out of form, something shocking, and because he's too underdone.
Yeah,
he shouldn't have played. He should have played for round 1. Yeah, they need to give him more time. He's not even half the Franklin that we know. And that's not age, because he's still able to get... His running power is still there. He's not able to mark ball, and he's just not able to turn like he does.
On a dime, yeah. Like,
his agility is just gone. So, I worry about that. But we both know, and we both said, Franklin's back end of the year draw is amazing.
Oh, after their bye, it's just...
So,
literally, the first half of their year is so hard.
He's on this watch list as well.
It's crazy.
Somewhere. Now, someone I think is relevant now is Jacob Hopper with Callum Ward going down. He showed that he can obviously be a really good scorer. He's currently averaging 100.7.
Chris, riddle me this. Who's averaging more between...
No, 108.3.
Who's averaging more between Hopper and Taranto?
Hopper, way more.
Well, and what did we say pre-season about who's going to get more minutes in that midfield?
Because of the way that he plays.
He's an inside beast.
Agreed.
And people are surprised that he's doing so well. I don't know why. He is an inside winner.
He's a gun. He's a dead set gun, and he's going to be on radars. And next year, people will be choosing him as a starting midfielder.
Yeah.
So
his body is pretty solid too.
Well, I think now it's his midfield.
Yeah.
He's that big body midfielder in there that can really take the game by
the horse. They need a tough mid now because Kelly and they're outside.
Yep.
You know, so
Kelly can play inside.
He's inside as well, but you still need a bigger
body
that
takes the hits.
You need a bigger body like Cripps, that someone that actually gets in there like an Ollie Wines that starts smashing people.
Yep.
Someone that when they pick it up, you kind of hesitate as to whether you want to get hit.
Agreed.
Yep.
Obviously, Joshy Kelly, I think that he'll still be top 4. I'm just, in terms of average, just waiting until he starts going down. I mean, his first 2 games, what has he had? He's had some great
He
scores.
floated in this round was a lot better. Last one, I think he got 95 first gear, and then this time he got 117.
What have we got here?
Hitting third or something. I think it's about 117.
95 going in first gear and a 114 in second gear.
114, yep. So he's actually looking pretty good.
And look at his upcoming opponents. Where have we got here? So
yeah, Freo, Sydney, Saints, Hawks, Carlton, Melbourne, Gold Coast. I know. That's what I was saying. Remember how I said I want to get them around Saints, Hawks, Carlton, Melbourne, Gold Coast. So I would love to get him in. If I had Liberatore, I swear to God, when Libba hits 520k or whatever, I would love to sideways trade him to.
But even look at someone like Adelaide. Adelaide don't tag, even though they've got a strong midfield. They don't tag a midfielder. North run over the top of them. They don't tag anymore.
I think GWS are going to win most of these games.
Yep. And look at these look at these open midfield Essendon, open midfield Brisbane. You know, it's
they don't tag.
Open midfield Richmond, open midfield Collingwood. This is just going to be a dream run. I tell you what.
Not to mention, remember his 2 big games last year, Chris? 200 and whatever.
Yep.
Big
both
games
against Gold Coast.
Carlton and Gold Coast, I think.
And don't they play Gold Coast twice, GWS? Yeah, so they play Gold Coast. So in that stretch, you've got 2 Gold Coast games. However, one of them is last round, so it's not going to matter for leagues, but it will matter obviously for overall. So
I'm looking at
Kelly.
I'm looking at Kelly and Canelio to fill my side out.
Yeah, it's
my 3.
It's a lovely little upgrade target. Now Luke Ryan showed what he could do, obviously, with his massive 150.
That's huge.
Oh, it's just a huge one. So what's he averaging? He's averaging quite well now with that score. He's averaging 104.5. So I tipped him as a flat 100 average for the year, and I think that is still achievable, but we'll see how that goes.
With big ceiling games, though, your average can really float.
Yeah. Canelio as well, of course. I think he's a jet. If you have him, do not trade him. I think he'll be good for the year.
He's averaging 104.5, though. He's just floating at the moment.
He's just had a couple of poor games.
He had one big game.
He had a lot of attention.
Yeah, that's big game tagged, and then a couple of flat hundreds. So, yeah.
But again, you know that they're going to come into an easier streak. The better that Whitfield goes, the better it is for Canelio. As soon as he stops getting that attention, and they start realizing that GWS are winning regardless of what Canelio does.
Yeah, they'll just go for the damaging person in Whitfield because he's the
reason they're winning, guaranteed.
And they want it in his hands. They want it in his hands.
Their ball movement relies on Lockie Whitfield.
We'll see how they move the ball when Whitfield gets shut down. But then all of a sudden, then Canelio will start having scoreboard impact, and then start kicking goals, and they're like, "Oh, damn it, let's go and."
Well, I mean,
hop on him.
They shut down Whitfield, and all of a sudden Williams comes into play. So, I mean, that's a biased thing for me to want Whitfield to be shut down, but...
Here's how I think it is. I think people forgot how damaging Whitfield is. It's almost like Jack Stephen of yesteryear, where the first 4 rounds, no attention, he goes bang, 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 and everyone goes, oh, yeah, that guy. And then literally shut down.
And then it completely ruins his year.
And ruins his year. So it's almost like they just forgot the 666 rule, and they're just going, hang on, look how much space this guy's getting. Look how much damage this guy's doing. I can't believe...
watching a GWS game, it's just like, where's Whitfield? Because they're passing it to him.
Literally, yeah, and you're like, is no one putting attention on him?
I just get angry. I get angry watching it. It's so frustrating.
Even like, I saw that the other one, but you're watching around going, is there no one else?
Is there no one else?
Is there no one else? No one's on him. No one's on him.
Well done, sir. That is a fantastic reference. Is there no one else?
I love a Thor reference.
Oh, good. I love it. That's so good.
Thor.
Is it Thor? What is it from? Sure.
No,
No, it's not. It's not Thor.
What is Troy.
It? Troy.
I've got a slur.
But yeah,
Troy,
no.
Sorry, Troy.
So good.
With a T. Close.
So good.
I was like Thor.
Now Billings is an interesting target. He might be a must-have. I don't think he might be a top 6, but
I don't.
I will be waiting until the buyers to look at Billings.
I want to see more track history. Plus, don't forget the Saints they've won 3, lost 1, and the other one was a nail biter.
And we all know that Billings loves a good old downhill skiing.
Well in wins, so
yeah,
yep.
Sicily's dropped quite a lot.
Chris, I actually heard he has his end of season plans already booked,
and I'm guessing they're not in September.
Well, he wants to hit the ski slopes for some downhill skiing. So,
he likes a good old Queenstown run, does he?
Old downhill ski.
I like it.
And unfortunately, the best time to ski is September.
It is. It's a little bit closer to winter, so you have fresh snow. Sorry, the Saints fans out there. By the way, if you are asking questions on Twitch, we will get to them. We're just going to go through these watch list guys before we get to the Twitch questions. So thank you very much for staying on board with us. Yeah. Sicily. So I think again,
I think he's a must-have as well. I think literally you're looking at,
and he's dropping in price.
Here's the thing: there's 5 defenders must-have. I feel.
Yep.
You've got Lloyd, Whitfield, Laird, Sick Dog, and Hearn.
I agree.
And that means that you really have one position that you can go point a difference on.
Well, I think that I'm hoping that other one goes to Williams.
Hopefully, but
if Whitfield gets tagged.
Jeez.
I don't know how the season's going to play out, but yeah, I do believe that those top 5, they're streets ahead.
I think they're
absolute
the top 5.
Streets ahead.
I think they're top 5.
The next one closest is probably Ryan, and he's not really a must-have. You could probably have there's a blanket over that next sort of group.
You could go like a crisp, or you could go like but it's like much of the muchness.
Exactly right. Yeah.
It doesn't matter as much.
Yep, I agree
on that. So I'm with you.
So we've got Rory Laird here. We've already discussed him. Seb Ross, I like him.
Horrible, Chris?
Yeah, but it's role dependent with Ross, and he gets into these patches of form. He's got a break even of 90 now. He's dropped. How much cash he's dropped?
Not much.
6K from his starting. No, 43K from his starting price. He's
not much.
He's got a break even 9, so he's probably on an upward trend now. But 514K for someone who could potentially average you say 105 to 110. Again,
don't touch him.
I don't think that's going to be top 10 numbers.
Don't touch him unless he drops to like 460. Swear to God.
I don't reckon he's going to though. He's too good. He finds too much of the ball. His issue is not that it's his delivery, right? He gets enough of the ball. It's just either it's A, too uncontested.
Yep.
Which is great for Dream Team, but not for SuperCoach. Or B, it's just a turnover.
He spent way too much in his off season at an abattoir.
What? The fuck is an abattoir?
It's where they butcher meat, Chris. He's a butcher.
Is he really?
Yeah, abattoir is where they take the.
So is he a butcher?
No.
Oh, he's a butcher.
Oh my God.
Oh, good one. Oh, that makes so much more sense now.
Okay, all right. Note to self: Rule 1: don't use words that Chris doesn't understand.
Man, I'm a roofer, bro.
Number 2,
can't use that terminology
for a week. Number 2, Jesus.
Yeah, I'm making jokes. All right, so we're almost through this list. Not many to go. Jeremy Howe, I still think is a viable selection. He's just getting consistent this year. So if you look at his scoring pattern, what's he had here? 89, 99, 103, 74. I think that if you're really looking as a D6 option, I think that's going to be cheap enough at times.
The important one, I think, is Tim Kelly. This low price in his cycle, I think, is going to be great.
This is a real soon one. We need to be.
We also need to see if Howe plays again, if Howe lines up, because Kelly was really rattled by the tag. And I know we posted about it that they came on straight up. DeBoer went up. Tag Kelly. And it was funny because Geelong literally saw someone run to Kelly and they're like, this doesn't look nice. So they're like, Kelly, come off the field. Yeah. So then Kelly comes off and then DeBoer's like, oh, well, stuff you. I'll go tag Dangerfield. So like, yes. And then they run around for a while. And then as he's getting tired, DeBoer comes off. And then they're like, Kelly, get back on. Go towards the forward. And then literally Kelly goes on, kicks a goal. So in in his score that's so bad from tagging, one of those, like his goal wasn't actually
So the points that he actually made weren't even a part of...
weren't when he was being tagged. And then all of a sudden he gets tagged for the first half. Deplorable, no run, and then...
Falls like origami.
And then they're like, oh, okay, well, let me... I've ruined his self-esteem, so now I'll just go run with Dangerfield. Kelly does nothing all game. Literally, it's like... It's just in his head where, but he said I'm bad. And just does nothing. Absolutely ruined his mojo. Gone toast. Then
Tim Kelly is the most overrated player of the year.
And then ruins Dangerfield for the second half, who couldn't even handle having someone run with him.
Which is strange for Danger, because he usually works through a tag really well.
Very strange. And now people have seen him get rattled. I think he'll be more prepared next time.
I think that just shows to the competition how good De Boer really is.
And I don't think Danger's actually thought it through, because it's like, mate, Selwood's on the outside now. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like, Duncan doesn't get... he gets a lot of the ball, and he's great with his use of the ball, but... the damaging one, which we said, Kelly. And wait until someone tags Kelly, because we could see it happening. And then they went and did it, and then he went and changed over and then ruined Dangerfield. So now teams are sitting there going,
Quick pro quo. How much do you reckon he scores against Fife this week? Also, how much do you reckon Fife scores against De Boer this week?
I think I don't know, 100 flat. He'll probably get 100 flat.
Fife still goes 100.
Yeah.
Getting tagged.
100 flat.
Sure.
Yeah.
I believe you. I know. Tim Kelly to me is just overrated. I think that he still will be a top 6 forward, probably, maybe top 10 at the absolute lowest, which means that you need to keep an eye on him. Yeah, he's got a break even of 145 and he's lost 8k so far. So he'll probably go down. He'll be, I reckon, maybe 460, maybe 470.
Yeah, if Howe tags him this week, and then even better. If
you can get a Tim Kelly for, say, 460, I think that's a great win.
Yep.
Great win.
I'm with you.
So someone definitely to watch. David Mundy as well has had some really poor scores. Backs up with a 150, but can he continue it when Fife comes
in the
back?
Side, yes.
So he's lost 37k on the season. He's down to 483k. So if you really want to take a punt on someone, David Mundy, I think he's going to still average 95.
Yeah, go Dunkley.
He'll still be top 10.
Go Dunkley to Mundy. There you go.
Well,
make some cash back.
What's happening with Danes Walker?
I don't know.
Is he just not getting the same ball?
I tell you what, maybe
he's playing in midfield. He's on the end of. You know what it is. He's on the end of. Lockie Neal's getting the clearance, and he's the one that's exploding from the stoppage with a handball receive. So they're using him more as an outlet as opposed to the guy that gets the hard ball.
Yeah. Initially. And I don't think he's hit the scoreboard as much either.
That's true.
I think the lines are more rounded, that they're not relying on him to be the only guy. I'll tell you what the other issue is, Chris. I don't think he's drinking enough coffee. I haven't seen him at the cafe.
Agreed.
I'm assuming...
You're absolutely right.
I can only assume he's not drinking enough coffee bean. I tell you what. So, Zork, if you're out there, mate, just get on down to your local 63 cafe and just have some more coffee, and I'll be there. I will wait.
He will. Yeah. And we've now got a new subscription, which is going to donate directly to the cause of buying Dane Zorko coffee.
Yeah. If we get enough money, we might actually be able to purchase his time to then make him drink a $5
How good would it
coffee.
be if we could get Dane Zorko on here
That'd
for a
good.
podcast? We're gonna get big enough.
We raise $5,000. We'll give you $5,000, and we're gonna buy you a coffee.
We need like the Phantom or something to be like, oh, you're our Brisbane rep. You go see Dane Zorko.
No, what we need is our new possible friends to join in.
We might just quickly take a break. We are going to the game this week. It is full kit wanker week.
Yeah.
So we're going to the game tomorrow night. Brisbane versus Collingwood.
I'm sitting in the members and he's sitting with the plebs. Sorry, you're sitting with the Collingwood.
I am on the wing.
Also called the plebs.
$60 tickets or some stupid shit. With the plebs. Anyway, so we are going to do a meet and greet. So if you are going to the game or in the area,
yes, the Pineapple Hotel, 6 p.m. till 7 p.m.
Yeah, we'll be there from 6 till 7.
You know what we look like. Yeah.
Come up and say, hey, I'll be the douchebag in the full kit with the full boots on and everything.
Yeah, I only know what you look like from your nudes.
Yeah, agreed. That's not going to happen tomorrow night. So it'll be fun. Make yourself known to us. We're not going to just walk up to random people and go, hey, do you know that we're from SuperCoach Insider? That's not going to happen.
You do that anyway.
So come say hello. It'll be really fun. And that's it.
Say hi, buy us a beer.
Yeah, totally. Or subscribe. I mean, do one of the two. Maybe a coffee.
Chris,
give it to Dane.
Don't push the people. We're blokes, right? Just start with a beer. That'll be nice.
Yeah, that's true.
The beer's always nice.
That's true.
Just buy me a beer before you...
Now, I do think that Sammy Menegolo has obviously got a lot more to offer. So he's one to keep an eye on. He's lost 47k and he's down to just under 500k. So, I mean, someone you could just be like, look, I'm just going to take a punt on Menegolo for the rest of the year because I think he's going to be averaging.
The problem is still the buys, though.
Well, yeah, no, but you can. I think you can afford to have 3 of the same buy players in one area at the most. But that's what I mean. Like, that's why you should have only started with 2, so that you could keep an eye on who the third one was.
Right.
So you can get the right third one in, because otherwise you can't have 4. That would really screw
Dunkley
you.
is 467. How much is?
It's another 30k or 27k.
Oh, 7k.
You don't have enough.
No.
Nah.
Unfortunate.
Anyway. Jack Gunston, of course, I think that he's just always in the top 10 discussion. He's dropped to 478k.
Yeah, but he had a bad round.
He did, and he's got now a break even of 158. So you could maybe sideswap
he
him
has
next week.
A good run of 100, and then he pulls out this poor game of like a 58.
Yeah,
always happens somewhere.
Jackie Crisp again. He's got a high break even with that poor score still in his system, which is 154 break even of. He's lost 38k. He's down to 481. He can probably get down to about 460 before he starts going back up. So someone to keep an eye on there.
I'm still waiting for Dunkley to have a good score, to be honest.
Dunkley is completely... We're up to Dunkley.
Westhoff dropped that now, by the way, after his 150 or whatever.
He's on my watch list.
Ooh.
Dunkley is someone, if there's an injury in midfield to the Dogs, or if Bont goes as a role change, and I've actually said this in the last couple of days.
Injury in the midfield or an injury in the forward line?
No, not even.
Yeah, if any injury in forward line,
interesting
Bond
stat.
goes forward.
Did you know that the Dogs have either won or equaled the inside 50 count every single week that they've played this year? Yet they're only 2-2, and one of those games against the Hawks they were lucky to win, just because they kicked 7 or 8 goals in the last quarter. They've only outside of that game their high score is like 82. I think they have massive problems with their forwards. They're not performing the way that they want, which is going to mean what? Bond goes forward. So I think if it turns around this week, they're playing Carlton this week.
Yeah, I have to keep...
If they win the inside 50 count again and they lose, or they don't kick a high score, it's done. Bont will go forward. That's my prediction. It's my big one for the week. So if that's the case, Dunkley's got to be you got to keep him for this week. And then you can't really trade Bont in yet. I can't... It's just a classic Bevo, but it's a Bevo move, right?
Yeah.
So
I wonder what
I put on my Bevo cap and I go, what did
Bont's
Bevo
on your
do?
watch list, I wouldn't mind seeing his ownership now because he was very low.
He's not currently on my watch list, I don't think.
No, okay. Because I'm pretty sure at the start of the year it was 3% because I considered him because he was so low end.
Katie Simpson, Devon Smith. I mean, these guys, guys that...
Devon looks horrible.
Devon's lost a lot of money. He's lost 50k. He's down to 480. He's got a break even of 120, which he could hit.
Horrible. He's getting less disposals because he's not playing as inside. He's getting less tackles. You could put those two together, and you're scoring 80s, not hundreds.
I agree.
Bad.
Jackie Darling has dropped quite a lot. He's dropped 41k. He's down to 430k. So if you've just got that, say you could go a Dunkley to a Darling.
Dunkley to a Darling. That's just like...
I do think that, I still think that Darling is going to be good. He's had 290 scores. He just hasn't really grabbed a game by the scuff of the neck yet. And the big one, of course, is Mr. Westhoff himself. He's dropped 113k down to 436,000.
I could afford him.
You can. He's got a break even of 167, so you might not want him this week.
That's so cheap.
He's going to be under 400k in 2 weeks.
I don't think I want him anyway.
Here's the thing.
His role's horrible.
No, it is. Charlie Dixon's supposed to be back in a couple of weeks.
Is he?
Which means he'll probably take Westhoff's role, and then it frees Westhoff up to either play that wing role, which he's been playing early in the JLT and in round 1, or behind the ball as a replacement for that Jack Watts role that was sort of absorbed by, I think, Dougal Howard came in and did that.
I think they had a couple injuries and stuff, so he's really played.
So what happens, I will be watching that with an eagle eye. If Dixon comes in and that first week Westhoff gets 100, he's in my team the next week. So it is role dependent with Westhoff. We know this.
And he could be around 400k.
He could be under 400k.
What's he now?
438.
Oh, yeah,
break even of 167.
He'll be under 400. What's his predicted drop?
426. His predicted drop is another 41k with a score of 74. He gets a score of 74 or below. He drops below 400k this year.
That's hectic.
That's fucking awesome. You could almost side swap Darcy Moore to Justin Westhoff in round 6.
You could, and it gives you forward, gives you ruck swing.
Oh, that's insane to think about that. It is just insane.
Is it?
I would hate to start with Westhoff, but he should be on everybody's watch list for the next few weeks.
It's 5. We've just spoken half an hour about your list.
All these guys, anyway.
Move on.
They're all. You can see all the other guys. They're all sort of speculative. I think Wingard's got value. Obviously, Franklin we mentioned earlier. Tom Scully, just keep an eye on him. Jimmy Webster's played really poor so far this year, and Tom McDonald. Tom McDonald is 402k.
Break even of what?
He's dropped 126k. He's got a break even of 130. And he had his first decent score of the week last week.
You're like 80 or 90, didn't you?
What did he get? Yeah, an 80.
Yeah.
He got a lot to offer, but I wouldn't be touching him just yet. Wait for the D's to turn things around, and then he'd start playing better football before that comes into play. All right. Shall we start with Twitch and work our way back?
Yeah, have a look at Twitch questions, or should we just go straight into SuperCoach Insider questions and then work our way back through Twitch and finish on Twitch?
Let's go with Twitch because these guys are live. They've been waiting.
They are. They've been waiting and listening to you ramble about your predicted lists and stuff for half an hour. So
excellent. All right, Struder says first, Butters or Setters and Bolter to Riley O'Brien and Stack. Yes, no. Like we discussed earlier, it depends on who's on field.
Yeah, I think Butters you should probably keep. But I mean, the problem is that bad scores in his cycle for 3 weeks. But he has more to go, and he has scored quite well. So if he's on field, 100% keep that.
If he's not on your field, he's not offering you anything anyway, apart from extra cash.
And it all depends on the news tomorrow.
Yeah, and it does depend on the news tomorrow. For me, I would go Setters to Riley O'Brien, and I'd probably not worry about Stack unless you just definitely needed the cash. Trades are worth too much for that, in my opinion. Let's have a look here. Buy rounds will sort out the pretenders. You're absolutely right, Kato23. All right. Sir Black Knight says affiliate. Yes, we are, mate. Thanks very much. Here we go. Going through here. Hashtag blessed. Thanks, Chris.
Haircut. Yep.
Everyone loves a haircut.
Yeah, haircut.
No one noticed my haircut that I had, and my hair dyed. I'm all of a sudden less grey. I'm a lot more brown.
But see, Chris, the problem is still all this. You can have a trim.
Such a burn.
You can have a trim.
Such a burn.
How many people have noticed your haircut, Chris?
No one cares. You're the face of the campaign. This is what I said. You're the one that needs to be on the posters.
Mine was a bit more obvious.
I'm the brains.
Mine was a bit more obvious.
It's Pinky and the brain. Anyway, all right. So we've got. Let me move this in so that I can accurately see this a little bit clearer, and the mic becomes easier to view. All right. So we've got. Hey guys, thoughts on Goldie down to Mummy and Butters down to Stack. My reasons for this are Butters has slightly peaked. I understand that. Then North and BA voted 48, then he versus Eagles, then North and Collingwood. All three of the best teams with good midfielders. I can't see him scoring that well down to Mummy. My thoughts going down to Mummy is he still has a negative break-even, scoring well, and will upgrade him to Gawn around the buys.
I don't like going down and then going, like, essentially you started him, traded it to someone else, and then traded back someone else, when you could have just literally started...
Yeah, I agree. There's three things in play here. There's three players I wouldn't trade to Mummy, and that's Grundy, Gawn, Goldstein. You chose Goldstein because you thought he could be a top 2 ruckman. He's only averaging, I think, 5 points per game less than Max Gawn at the moment anyway. So why does that matter?
Yeah, hold to the buys.
Hold to the buys, and then if it's desperate that you need to go, then you can find up the extra 100K
sideways or whatever. Oh, they'll probably be around maybe around the same then.
Yeah. So I wouldn't do that. I can understand the temptation for people to go to Mummy, but here's something you need to understand about Mummy. There's two things. First of all, he's already proved in his first couple of games that he's been questionable tackles that are going to get him suspended. He gets that dangerous tackle motion every single game and gives away a free kick for it.
And it's easy to start off a couple of games, but then what happens after 10 games? He might get sore, like who knows? He's old.
Coming back after a year out, he will be rested. Yeah. He'll guarantee to be rested. So... I understand that, you want him for 10 rounds or whatever to the buys or however many games there are left. I just don't know that that's going to be okay. And the problem is most people don't have ruck cover in R3. The whole point of the original plan of Grundy or Gawn, Mummy and R3 is that the R3 was playing. So worst case scenario, you could chuck someone onto your field to cover that while one of them was missing. If you don't have a playing R3, you can't do that. So I wouldn't bother. And I wouldn't be trading Riley O'Brien in just to do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. All right. Small whisper that he may be out for a week. Yeah, it's the hip issue. So he was injured in late... it's about, halfway through the third quarter?
Yeah, still went on big.
Yeah, and he still hit another 60 points or something.
Someone landed on him.
Yeah. It was just in a tackle. It was a corky. Like, it's it was he just landed awkwardly, and he got up, played out the game. It was warm, and of course, when you get colder, it just takes a while.
They played on the Friday night too, didn't they? So he has.
Yeah, it's 8-day break.
Yeah.
I think he'll be fine, but worst case, I think
he'll
be
fine. He might just play forward.
He might be laid out. Worst case,
laid out or play forward.
Yeah, and so that's the issue, is that he'll probably play forward this week. I'm okay with it. Whatever. He's hit a 137 and 130. You can take it easy and hit a 70 or 80 or whatever.
Watch everyone jump off him again. It'll be great. Deja vu.
Struder says Burgess and McKay. I don't know what that's in reference to. Oh, sorry. Okay. Blakey 1121. I had Callum Mills, so I needed to do Butters downgrade to upgrade Mills to Hearn. Yeah, that's fine. If you've got problems in your team, you need to address them.
Yep.
Again, hoping that Butters is not on your field, but I mean, Mills is going so bad that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not going terrible. Like, he still hit a ton the other week, though, didn't he?
Yeah, the other week.
From defence. I mean, he's playing defence, but.
Yeah, the other week.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it was last week. The same week Heaney went big.
People said Lewis. Yep, we understand. Thank you very much. Struder says, I already got rid of Hall. Needed to grab Parker before round 3. Yeah, good call. Parker made some decent cash. I'm really hoping that Parker will be able to continue that cash gen.
Yeah, he hurt himself. And meanwhile, how bad was it? There was about a half an hour period where about 3 rookies went down injured, like minorly injured.
Yep.
Still bad.
Being a Carol said, have you seen my comment? Yes, we have, Nan. I'm sorry about that. Tatum SNN says, Crisp has screwed me. He's not that bad, but he did. Like, he had that one awesome score, and the week later he had like a 27 or something.
People like Crisp is great. Yeah, 130 when they just racked
Week's
up the
a long
ball.
time in footy, especially in SuperCoach.
Big time in footy.
The problem with here's the thing with Collingwood is that the way that their defenders work is that it's all matchup dependent. So they don't have specific roles that they play every single week. All 6 of them go matchup dependent. So if there's someone that's really pacey and tall, that's Crisp will take it. Someone that's really good in the air, that's Jeremy Howe. Someone who's stronger, like a almost key position, that's a Tom Langdon. So depending on who that is in each team will depend on what they do to match it up.
I'll tell you what, their defenders are actually going to love Brisbane forwards.
Because they are...
We're not very good, yeah. All we have are the small forwards. You know, like the ones that put pressure on them. They're dangerous.
McStay's played...
Yeah, they're dangerous, but at the same time, if they're doing well, they're well. But you look at them and you got Hipwood and McStay, you're like, yeah. Like if they're on form, they can kick a few goals, right? But at the same time, there's more games that they do nothing than there is games that they pull it out of the bag.
That's just young forward line, though.
I know, that's what I
Same
mean.
with
So
Hipwood.
if you're a Collingwood defence...
Hipwood comes out of like the woodwork and he's just dominant.
The most points this week will go to A, the midfield, and B, Collingwood defence. That's it.
Well, Darcy Moore to...
Yeah.
Oh, how good's Jordan Ruffhead been, by the way? Imagine if you jumped on that early.
Huge.
Jesus, he's just
averaging like 82 or something.
That would have been a good cash grab if you could have had it. He's actually better than Moore.
Yeah.
He's averaging, I think, 10 points per game.
82, something like that.
Yeah, far out, man.
Yeah, good for drafts.
Anyway,
move
on. Can you? Yeah, I checked that, Binger. Well done. If Stocker comes in, Simpson might move up to the wing, which is bad for his scoring. So Simpson's always better behind the ball in the pocket.
Is Stocker a defender?
He's been playing off the halfback flank in the VFL,
really?
But he's not. He's only a midfield only in SuperCoach.
Right.
Where Wally? Hey lad, just come on board. When you were talking about Merritt and I, the ears were burning. Nice.
We had to mention you.
Can I ask the room if people got a Twitch notification for tonight? I don't know. Did everyone? Hopefully they did.
Hopefully.
Yeah, last week we had an issue where
on the Wednesday didn't announce,
night,
but the Thursday did.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if that's Twitch or whatever's happening. We've got quite a lot of viewers right now, so I think everyone got a notification, which is good. Excellent. And you're going to hate me, but I did ignore your advice and brought in Marshall for the ride and scored 24-35 last week. Time will tell if I'm wrong. Yeah, and look, that's, I mean...
Who's that?
This is
Ben?
Mount Moorstar, so I don't know who that is, but...
I know Ben was one of the ones that was...
SuperCoach is about risk reward. If it works out for you, then you're fantastic.
I think Ben Ashton was the one ripping, saying, I will show
you. Yeah, we had a big laugh about it. He's a good bloke.
Could be.
Yeah, we have different opinions and everyone's different in the way they view things. I don't hate people for doing it. I wish I was that guy, but I also kind of can't because the more risks you take in something.
Apologise. You're an absolute wank at times online.
Well, yeah, but
because you're so passionate. Don't get me wrong, I love you, but
because
then I see
that's
you
the
off,
right advice.
I
right?
see you go off on the tangent, and I'm like,
tangent.
I'm like, don't listen to Chris. He's just being a dickhead.
At the end of the day, our job is to give the best advice possible, and that is the best advice. However, doesn't mean that I don't want to be like, hey man, I really want to take a risk.
At the end of the day, our job is to entertain.
That's true.
And to provide advice.
But if we want someone
it doesn't have to be the best advice.
If we want someone to score shit, they could just follow you.
Excuse me, I'm talking. They can follow me, yeah, thanks very much. They can make their own bad choices. You would give them advice, and then it's up to them to make their own choices. Just because their choice doesn't align with what your choice would be, doesn't mean that it's a wrong choice.
Agreed. And Stonesy, well, welcome, buddy. 30 trades left. What to do with Bolter? You're going to need to do something with him. Hold, what to do with Dunkley? His role is shit. Hold or not?
Is that Swizz?
Yeah.
Oh, he's posting it on Facebook, and now he's also posting on the
I
Twitch.
respect that. Now, Stonesy, we've got a surprise for you, mate. So, thank you very much, Stonesy, out there for jumping on board with us and helping us with our Twitch. So, we're going to gift you our first sub, mate. You're going to be our first sub, which is going to be pretty cool. So, for those...
And that's subscriber, not sub in a different one.
Yeah. For those at home, this is what you're literally watching right now. I'm going to be able to gift a sub. Now, this is going to be weird. It's like Inception right here. They're watching me, watching this.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to gift a subscription.
Jeez, you're not wrong.
Yeah, right. I
told
you.
That's trippy as.
Stonesy, where you at? Stonesy. There we go. He's got the mug as his display pic. Well done, Stonesy.
What a classy bloke.
And we're going to gift him a subscription. Here we are. Now, I'm going to need to put my card details in here. So
really?
Yep.
Are we paying ourselves?
Yeah, 100%. Oh, I'm paying him. Wait, I'm paying us for gifting it to him.
Why is it $8 now?
So while I do this, I might actually have to. I will do that in the background while this is happening, but I don't want people to
you
watch my.
You do that. I'll start talking about. I'll start talking about Facebook questions, Chris.
All right, you get into the Facebook questions. Let's do this.
Look at you. Love your pre-planning and thought here, Chris. So Nick says thoughts on Butters to stack. We already mentioned that if Butters is on field, you don't really want to rely on these other guys. Swizz, what to do with Dunkley? Well, man, I am in your boat, and I actually heard this question about 30 seconds ago from a guy called Dave Swizz. So
fair enough.
Look, for me, they're versing Carlton. They're against Carlton, should I say? So for me, I'm holding this week. Last year, he still had some down games, and then he pulled out some 127s, just bang, bang, bang. So at this point, I'm kind of holding. I don't think he's going to drop too much. Like, he'll probably drop, if he does, 400k or whatever. Like, I don't think it's that dire at this point. As we've already seen, Westhoff and those are already dropping like flies around him. So I don't think his score's going to be that bad that he'll drop below 4. He should hopefully, and then a couple of big games and he's bang right up over 5 again anyway, and then you can move him on at a high price. So I think you have to kind of wait for that high score. Should we be trading Dunkley? Again, Tim Smith, so similar boat. You can if you like, but he's already dropped a little bit of cash. I think, a good score could be around the corner, but it's personal preference. I think against Carlton, and he could actually do okay. Again, I just hope that he has a couple of high scores to float his price back up again, and then you can move him on to someone else. Otherwise, you've already lost cash, and especially it's a bit early to go 1 down, 1 up just to correct a trade. There you go.
There it goes. Welcome to being our first subscriber there, mate. How good is that?
Stonesy just subscribed. That's cool. I like that.
That's cool, hey. All right.
Williams to Lloyd, but 2 trades, Jordan. I don't think Williams to Lloyd is worth 2 trades. Not unless you're already going down. Like, if you feel like there's a rookie that you must have, and you do that downgrade, and then you have this cash, and then you want to do an upgrade, I could see sense in that. But if you're doing it just to get Lloyd in, I think that's a bit excessive.
Look, Stonesy's got a little a merit badge there as well. So it says that he's a 1-month subscriber. Well done, Stonesy. Congratulations. And hopefully there's more to come. So we do like, obviously, people jumping on board to support us. Keep going.
James, from here to the end of the season, name your top 10 candidates to finish as top 6 forwards.
We're not going to do that this week because we're going to be doing that with a joint podcast with our mates over at SuperCoach Insider. SuperCoach Elites. Yes. Probably next week, probably early in the week, maybe Monday night, even after the Monday night game is what we're thinking, but we'll see how we go.
Okay. Thoughts on going VC Whitfield into Cripps? I don't think it minds who you go for a VC, to be honest. But I know a lot of people are choosing between Lockie Neal and Grundy. Who would you go with, Chris?
Neither. I don't think either of them are a good option this week. I think that Steph Martin has absolutely been toweling up ruckman this year. And whilst Grundy does have a good record against him, they're a different beast this year. So I'm not comfortable going with Grundy. I'm not also comfortable going with Neal because I think that they will have Greenwood that will...
Greenwood's not named.
No, they didn't name him.
No.
Oh, that's surprising. I thought they would...
no, he didn't train. He didn't train on the Oval today either. And
wow, so he's injured.
No, just not named. He wasn't playing in the open session.
That's really interesting. So maybe that opens up the hole that I thought was there. Maybe not. That's interesting. Okay, so I might go Neal then.
Yeah.
But I had planned originally on going VC Gawn, against Ryan Marshall.
Yeah.
Into Cripps. I think that is possibly...
the biggest mismatch?
Well, here's the thing. Ryan Marshall's not really a tap ruckman. He's not a good ruckman really at all, in my opinion. But he's great around the ground. That's where he scores his points.
Bruce is in doubt too, by the way.
Well, yeah. I do believe that Max Gawn's actually going to towel up Ryan Marshall. I think there's over 50 hit-outs and a lot to advantage. So we'll see how that pans out. I'm going to VC Gawn regardless, I think. I think he could have a 150, 160 this week. Whereas I think that Lockie Neal against could be like Collingwood side,
125 or something.
120, 130. He's had a lot of big scores recently. He's in form, but I can't see him going real big against Collingwood. Because they just deny the ball from the opposition. That's what they do.
He hasn't scored under 127 yet, Chris.
Which is great, isn't it?
How do you not take that?
Yeah, I can afford. I don't know.
Gawn averaging 114, and you want to not go with a guy who hasn't scored under 127 yet.
And also Gawn's history in the last few games against St Kilda, I think his lowest was like 126.
Still not 127.
Agreed.
We could play that anyway.
Well, thank you for pointing that out, Captain Obvious.
I haven't decided who I want to captain yet. But he is in my mix of choices. I think Cripps will be a very, very, very popular choice. But the benefit is hoping not to get to your seat. Because that's where you're going to get
Very cool.
So, okay, who is better trade target this week, Whitfield or Tom Stewart and save 90k? Whitfield. Tom Stewart might float. He could be the 6th guy in, but again, we don't know what's going to happen when Tui comes back in.
Yep.
If anything, Tom Stewart is probably the perfect, for those who own him in draft like I do, the perfect time to actually try and get maximum value for your guy killing it. So Tom Stewart, try and get maximum value for sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Like any fallen midfielder around there, you could go Stewart to like an Elliot Yeo or something, possibly. You could go Stewart, and hey, I'll go Stewart for Laird and easily make that happen, So I think I'd be doing that more than anything. Yeah.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Sir Black Knight said there is no option for a tier 1. There should be for a tier 1 sub. That's the if you just go to sub and click on subscribe, it should come up as a tier 1. It's the first option. You actually have to change it to tier 2 or 3 if you want to go that route. So it should be the only real default option. Any further questions there on Facebook or?
Just looking at Sam Perkins asked for his next move, which I find a bit hard. His team actually looks pretty good. He's got 29 trades. He can put Drew on the field instead of Setterfield, but it looks like he's trying to loophole with Petrotelli, so I'd just leave that.
Fair enough.
Just wait for team announcements really as to whether you want to bring in some of these other guys. But yeah, I think your team actually looks pretty good. I mean, you got Liberatore in there, you got Kelly, Heaney, you got Laird and Lloyd. So I think you must be sitting fairly pretty, to be honest. So yeah, I can just sit and chill.
Is that the last Facebook
that's
question?
That's for Facebook. Quick to Twitter.
Yep, we do have some Twitter questions as well. So there's a couple here. So Supercoach cheers. By the way, Supercoach cheers. I think he was ranked in the top 30 last week. So
yeah, he's killing it.
Well done. Is it worthy downgrading a Rook to Stack to change Fort to O'Brien? No.
No.
Don't do it.
Sideways.
No, that's 2 trades. The issue is it's 2 trades when you're going from someone who could make more money to someone that will make money, but 2 trades is worth, let's say, 300k generally. Will O'Brien make you 300k, and then you've got another trade after that to get in someone else.
And the problem is that people they wanted to start with a loophole ruck, or they started with Clark. I mean, Clark's got 2 in, so you leave him anyway. The other one is you started with a loophole. So unless you have a ruck forward loophole, because in case a ruck starts to play, you can't go and just change your loophole plan and go, oh, okay, I'm just going to burn a trade and go from this rookie to that rookie because he's going to make money. Yeah. It's a tough one to do. I mean, otherwise, unless you're going to loophole, Setterfield and then have a loophole in a different line at some point, it's just a messy.
Yeah, it is messy.
Tricky. It could work, but it's definitely risky.
I also want to keep that ruck forward option to bring in Westhoff at some stage, or Lyset if Lyset pulls it out of the bag. Either, I'm not really sure yet. So
Westhoff has had a history of having big runs at different points. Just 100, 110 over like 8 games, just bang.
Yep.
So I think it could happen again. If now would also be a good time before Charlie Dixon comes back in to target Westhoff in draft leagues too, just quietly. Also true. Yeah, buy them cheap and get rid of them high. So Stewart, killing it right now. And yes, he might end up killing it and averaging 105 or whatever it is for the year, which I doubt highly. So if you can get someone like a Laird, maybe averaging 90 odd, like go for it any day. Anytime that you feel like a guy's going better than he will for the rest of the year, try and make trades for people that look at his average and his scores rather than potential. Yeah. And that's how you win in the long run. And like, as Chris knows, I usually win. Hey, Chris?
We don't like to talk about drafts.
I trade a lot. I trade a lot based on, it's just like the stock market. You're kind of going, hey, I'll give you my Vodafone shares for Telstra shares because Vodafone's doing really well right now. And then next minute, Telstra kills them. So
it's true.
Yeah, do it. Do the trade.
Do it.
I've had a couple of people messaging through about trades too. One guy went Selwood and who was it? Selwood and someone or other, and he got Sloan and Hearn. He was like, would you do this trade? I'm like, yeah. You got you want to get Sloan and Hearn in your side, and it's only costing you like Selwood. He's a North captain.
Mm. North captain. Who? They change every year, don't they?
North.
Zeeble.
Yeah, so it was like him, Zeeble, like Selwood, Zeeble, and someone else. So I was like, yeah, do that deal. Yeah,
fair enough. And there is one more Twitter question that we will quickly go through. So this is from Currently in the Sea. Trading my captain's loophole binds for O'Brien as Jacobs out another 2 months. Well, maybe. Using Setterfield for the next 2 weeks as loophole, then reassessing. Hopefully Burgess or Gibbo lose their spots. No, I'll...
Can I just answer this question quickly, Chris? Sure. I'm assuming that these changes you're making are tax-free, being that you are out in the sea. So it looks like some shady dealings here, Chris. He's out at sea.
International waters.
Yeah. Has he got some illegal Wi-Fi tap going on?
Dude.
What?
Sometimes your jokes hit the mark. Other times they hit the mark just because they're so far left. It's like...
Well, what's up with his name?
No, I respect it.
Anyway. Sorry, answer the man.
Yes. No, the answer is no. I wouldn't do it. If you I can see the reasoning. What you want to do is you want to keep Setterfield because he's obviously going to make more money. But I would just trade Setterfield. You're making money on the trade itself. And then you're making money from Riley O'Brien as well. So it's a double win. And when Setterfield does play, which is in 3 weeks, you still got Riley O'Brien there making more money. If it's confirmed at 4 to 8 weeks, he's still making more money. He's still generating more cash at probably the same or similar rate if he's scoring 80s and above and Setterfield comes back and is scoring 50s or below. So I would be more inclined to just keep Riley O'Brien. And remember, they're both going to need forward rookie downgrades. So the rookie downgrade that you're looking at the same time that Setterfield is going to be wanting to get downgraded is going to be the same rookie that you're going to want on in your forward line when you want to trade Riley O'Brien out and put Bynes back on the ruck. So everybody's looking for a forward downgrade. That's going to be either...
Or a defender if you have more in your defence, then you could swing him forward.
Yeah, like a Burgess, and you could do that.
Well, not even a Burgess, as in with the ruck forward swing that you're looking at. O'Brien, if then there's defenders peaked and there's a good option there, you go, cool, I'll go get the cheap defender in defence, Darcy more forward, him into the ruck, bang, love and life.
Yeah. So, but
it opens up your options.
Yeah, exactly. So I just wouldn't do it. That's just my personal opinion. But I mean, ask around, make your own decision based on what you want to do with your team.
Yeah.
Because I don't necessarily think that that's a wrong thing. It's just what I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Make your own decision.
Cool.
I think it's fair. Like, yeah, we're looking at crystal ball, and we could look at a guy saying, oh, he doesn't have much job security. Next minute, he plays really well. Someone else gets injured, or someone else plays horrible, and they kick him to the curb. And then next minute, he plays 5 games in a row. It's
oh, that was out of bounds, guys.
It's definitely hard to see. And a lot of people like to look at the half glass full crystal ball where, oh, O'Brien, he could do this, that, and the other. I'm like, yeah, but he could also get dropped for the 3rd tier ruck. You know, there's no guarantees. You just look at a cash cow going, he's scored well for his first 2. It looks like he's in the side, and then you just have to go with it and hope. That's all we have to do, really.
It's true.
Hope. Just hit and hope.
Now, thanks to our live follower there, Kimeto01. Thank you for following us, and welcome to the stream. Enjoy your time here.
Welcome to the end.
That pretty much wraps us up. We probably spent a little bit longer than we wanted to, but it's shorter than we've done in the last few weeks. So
well, it's still an hour and 40.
Yeah.
And we had to listen to Chris talk half an hour about possible trade-ins.
We do. We want to get into that.
Look, that's okay. I am happy. We can move on. Thank you very much for those who have tuned in. We will not be doing a follow-up tomorrow night with the live teams, but we made a little Facebook Live of Chris wearing his little...
we probably will do something on Facebook Live tomorrow night.
That would be funny.
So you guys
actually, what would be funny is that if anyone is actually local at the Piney, we maybe do Facebook Live to show Chris in his full kit wanker outfit, and then a couple of our subscribers and a couple of our listeners just giving him a bit of shit.
Fair enough.
That'd be good.
I like it.
That'd be good. If you're around, please come and heckle Chris. That'd be great.
I don't like that.
I do. We need something. You need to be heckled for your bet loss.
Well, again, a reminder: if you do want to head down to the game tomorrow night.
Sorry, it's called the Pineapple Hotel. It's right near the Gabba. 6 till 7 p.m.
Main Street, is it?
Yeah,
Main Street, Kangaroo Point.
Yes, we call it the Piney. So I don't know if I said the Piney because that's probably a bit more cryptic.
Yeah, we'll be there probably about 1:45. But yeah, 6 till 7. Come up, say hello, buy us a beer or not buy us a beer, whatever. Right,
jug.
and go Pies for tomorrow night.
We like big jugs.
That's true. All right, well, we might catch you later, guys.
No worries. Thanks very much. Enjoy.
See you guys.
All right, bye.
Bye.